Hello there, and welcome back to the Natalie
and Dennis
Show
podcast.
You guys, happy Friday. Oh my gosh, take a look. If you're on YouTube right now, you are seeing our new
and improved
podcast studio.
There's some massive changes in here.
Well, and we're not even fully done yet.
No.
Just the beginning.
Lots of changes.
Check out over at David's station too. Even David. Look at David.
I'm in an aquarium right now.
He's in a fish tank. So, Dennis and I kind of reevaluated. And he was telling me the other day, he was like, we need to have more fun with the podcast because
I just think we're so serious sometimes here. And it's all about having fun.
And we're not like that. We're not really serious people. We all joke around a lot. We laugh around a lot. And I feel like we're getting into a new space. We've never done podcasting. Yeah. And so we feel this pressure to be like everybody else.
So the thing is today's topic was super serious. It was about marriage. And so
are you
okay? Because he said, oh God.
That we almost drowned in his tank.
Okay. So today's episode was supposed to be about marriage. It was supposed to be really serious, what deepened our marriage and all that. And we're going to still do it. But I want to keep it more I don't know, lighthearted. Everything has to be, it doesn't have to be so serious.
Yeah. So let us know if you're watching the visuals or if not. I want to know what you think so far. How are the colors? What do you think? Do you like it? And then David, can you make yourself pop up here? Because it's so funny. You can just oh, look at that. So cute.
Hey, Natalie, we are so close now.
Look at this. Isn't this
so private now? So deep.
And then I can do this.
You punch them off the screen.
You can wee away.
They fly away.
Anyways, happy Friday. Thanks for joining us today, honey. So how was your week? What's going on?
Our week was very productive. The difficult thing is sometimes for us it is productive, but we don't feel like it's productive because there are certain things that we had on our list that we didn't tackle.
Yeah. I mean, we're really a 2-person team day to day. For the podcast, we're 3, yep. But a lot of it falls on your shoulders and we're still a very small team. And we're posting almost every day on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube shorts. So,
I think we need to give ourselves some pats on the back and be
let's celebrate.
You're doing fine. You got a lot going on.
But it's I think that's just the nature of humanity. You always want to do more and more, So I'm trying to realize how can I be happy with what I have and just enjoy it.
I think it's all about motivation.
Good job, guys.
Oh,
you guys, so
yeah. Just like in the last episode, motivation, but also being content at certain points in time and just being happy with what we've done.
Yeah.
I have been giving you a lot of compliments.
That's an interesting one. Yeah. Because he was showing me a TikTok where it was a guy saying how compliments expire for women.
Yeah.
And so if Dennis is going to tell me today, wow, your legs look so nice. I'll forget tomorrow and he better tell me again.
I got to tell her again multiple times.
Whereas for men, it's the opposite. They say.
Yeah. I can remember a compliment I got 3 years ago from some random stranger that said I had nice hands or nails or whatever.
That's so interesting.
It's weird. I don't know why. It's very rare for men to get compliments.
Tell us.
It's because, guys, I go over there. Okay.
Yeah. Come on over here, David.
Okay. You know why? It's because. No.
That's okay. Yeah.
It's because men don't receive so many compliments in a life.
Yeah.
So woman, como está bonita.
Yeah.
But men win. Never. So
never.
Cuando lo reciben, lo recuerda,
Yeah. It is more normalized, right? So I'm curious, out of compliments that you guys have received, which do you remember?
My top compliments that I've received in my life, right? So it was, you have really nice hands. That was my one.
Really?
Yeah, it was this girl that was obsessed with hands.
Let me see your hands. They're nice.
Put my camera.
They're painted right now. He has lavender.
My hands have always been really soft for some reason. I started with lifting a lot of weight, so they've gotten a little rougher, but they're still, nice and tender.
You do have really soft
And
hands.
then hair. I've gotten the curly hair compliment many times.
Which you just got a haircut.
Yeah, I look different. No hat, no nothing. Just nice and polished.
Oh my God. Literally, okay, this is a little sidetracking, but actually, David, what was yours? Sorry, I feel like I'm interrupting. What was your
compliments that you remember?
Okay, let me show you.
Go in the aquarium. I want the aquarium.
Okay.
Just camera. Yeah, there you go. And then boom.
We're still learning, guys. Over here.
Yeah, it's hard for me because it's new, but
It's okay.
I got it now.
Yeah.
So one day I say, "Usted muy alto. You are so tall, and I love your smile." Si supiera que es falso.
David has a fake smile.
I just remembered one. I got
wait,
dimples.
hold on.
Dimples is another big one.
Dimples, yes. I just want to translate for those of you that don't speak Spanish that they told David that I love your height and I love your smile, and that in David's head he's like, if only she knew it was fake. Because David's front teeth are fake. They look very real though.
Yeah.
Damn.
These look very real. Yeah,
What were yours, honey?
The hands.
The
curly hair.
Oh, the dimples.
And the dimples. But I don't even have dimples. I think girls lie about dimples.
You have some.
I don't.
No?
No, I don't think. I mean, I might have one. There's people who have one dimple. And like not on the other side.
I really appreciate comments about my personality. Like when someone's like, "Oh, you're so magnetic." Like I just love that. Or your smile is contagious. Like stuff like that is very like, wow, it's not just superficial. Because I'm gonna look different. Yeah.
I feel it. Yeah. I mean, personality things are great. I mean, not in this podcast, I actually had a section where we're gonna talk about character versus personality.
Okay.
And what we believe is the difference in it. But we're gonna deep dive into marriage now. Okay. How would you rate our marriage in terms of success up until now?
Well, I don't know what that means.
Well, how do you feel? How do you think we are together as a duo? Do you think things have gone smoothly?
I think that from an outside perspective, like people almost, what's the word? How do you say like they up us too much? What's that word?
Like
they hype us up.
Yeah.
Like I feel like people are like, I get a lot of comments whenever I post anything. They're like, I wish my relationship was like yours, or you guys have so amazing, love and blah, blah, blah. And like, yeah, we do. But I also feel like it's a little glamorized. And like, that's not always how it is. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of times where we're not content and we kind of, is this the answer you want?
No, for sure. I'm asking you about your thoughts and opinions.
Yeah. But overall, I really think, I feel like I'm going to get crap for this, but like, I don't feel like I'm married.
I know you said that last time.
And like everybody last time was commenting like, what does she mean? She doesn't feel like she's married. That's freaking weird. Like, is she not like, but I don't feel like I'm married. I don't know. Like the other day we had one of our friends' daughters tell us, they were like, I feel like you guys are just dating. Like you just look like you're dating.
Yeah.
Cause like a married couple, like Natalie doesn't really follow the marital woman roles. And
she said that we, as in you, haven't really assimilated the title, the overall title of wife. Like you are still like, I don't know, wife kind of means something different to a lot of people. But to me, wife, and this is just my opinion, is a more laid back role of kind of running the home. And it's weird. But I think there's some people that feel that. But since you're still like doing things and like doing jobs, progressing, all these CEO roles and stuff, you're so independent in growing yourself that title of wife, I feel like it hasn't like stuck. Yeah. It's weird.
So the comment came after that was your mom was like, yeah, for example, Natalie doesn't think about Dennis and doesn't like take him food after like parties. And I was like, yeah, I'm kind of happy I'm not that wife because you allow me to be my own person, my own identity. I'm not like, my identity isn't I'm just your wife and all of a sudden I'm just catering to you. Like that's the way they were raised.
Do you think other people assume the title? Yeah, that's what I meant by assume the title of wife, like envelop all of it.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that if that's who you like identify as. But I don't like, I can see myself having kids and not just identifying as a mother, I
automatically think of people's bios on Instagram, like mother, wife.
Yes.
Like blah, blah. Like they have like those very specific titles. Like I don't see that. I don't see husband. Like I don't want to say I'm not proud of it, but I also don't see it as something that I've assimilated and used it as a representation of what I am.
Yeah. And I don't like doing that because I've experienced that with YouTube where I used to be like YouTuber, blah, blah, blah. But then it's like you change and you evolve. And it's hard to let go of an identity. Yeah. Right.
That actually reminds me of another TikTok I showed you about jobs and how we shouldn't assimilate a job as our everything. you know, and how when we tell kids like, what do you want to be when you grow up? It's not that you shouldn't really say that anymore. It's more of like, what problem do you want to solve
in the world?
Because that job might not exist by the time that they're an adult.
Yeah. And I definitely feel like going towards that, when people used to ask me, what do you want to be when you grow up? It was one of the most paralyzing questions. It's like, I don't know. And you had the kid next to you being like, well, I already know I want to be a doctor. Or I already know I want to be a policeman and blah, blah, blah. But I genuinely didn't know. I didn't know truly up until like 8 years ago, once I was already doing this whole thing, you know?
But okay. So like, if let's say someone went up to you when they were like, what problems do you want to solve when you're older? Is that easier to answer? I think it's just as hard.
That is just as hard. But I think it makes you think about things differently in the world. It's like, it does. It makes you see things as opposed to, oh, I think I should be a doctor versus, no, I think I want to like help a group of people. And that can be in many different ways.
David, what did you want to do when you grew up?
Don't ask me.
He's still growing up.
Yeah.
Or when you were little, what was your response to people?
Okay. When I'm little, I want to be like fireman.
Oh,
Fireman. Mm-hmm.
That's a good one.
But now I don't want to be a fireman. I want to be like
a bomb.
Pero como estamos diciendo, la gente les preguntan qué quiere hacer, pero que ya no se debe preguntar qué quiere hacer, sino qué problema quiere solucionar cuando va a crecer.
Okay. Oh, that's hard.
Yeah. So then in that case, what problem do you want to solve?
The sad in a world.
The sad in the world.
The sadness? The sadness. That's
how? By making people laugh, entertaining. Oh.
And maybe laugh. I think I'm funny.
You know, one thing that stood out, I was telling Dennis that I was talking to David the other day, and he was like, it's really easy for me to make friends. And I was like, really? How do you do it? And he was like, I just kind of smile at people. And I thought that was like, it's a good way of just meeting people. Sometimes we walk around so serious, right?
Yes, I'm very serious.
You're so serious
all the time.
You should change that a little bit.
So
you're scary.
After hearing that a couple days ago, like I had told you at the gym, I was walking and I just try to smile, and I feel so out of body. Like I feel weird. I can't walk around like it's so odd. I don't know. I don't feel
because it's forced
in my element. Yeah, it's fake.
Well,
I do smile when I'm with other people though, but just by myself, I don't smile.
I was telling Dennis that I get really uncomfortable because obviously this whole thing is new to us. Like I get uncomfortable when there's too many pauses in the podcast. But I would like to hear from you guys what you think. Like, do you like moments like that?
It's just a chill session.
Yeah, I don't know why I get uncomfortable with that. Like I want to fill it up a little. Like I'm like, okay, like is there a way for us to be like, let's move into the next topic? I don't know. I'm struggling with that a little bit.
So in terms of marriage, there's a lot of compromises, right? I feel like there's a lot of compromises that need to be done in order for the relationship to continue and succeed. Do you feel like you've compromised a lot, or do you feel like you've continued to be the same person that you were prior to marriage?
Yeah, I feel like I compromised some things. For example, I work with you Monday through Friday. Yeah. I only really get to hang out with you on Saturday because Sunday is for your parents. Right. Mm-hmm. So I've kind of compromised that where I'm like, I mean, I would like to hang out with you.
We hang out all the time though.
No, I know. But I'm just saying, like, obviously it's not nice of me to be like, can you hang out with me every day of the week? Because I feel like work is different from actually hanging out, which is why I emphasize our date night so much. And I think it's important, you know.
And then did your parents prepare you for marriage?
No, what the hell?
And what was your mindset like in terms of marriage? Is it what you expected?
Can I throw the questions over to you?
Sure. You know, yeah.
I feel like this is so deep for me to think about right now. So you answer it. Like,
so my parents did not prepare me for marriage. I don't think that the conversation of marriage didn't come up ever.
I don't think your parents ever wanted you to get married.
Probably. I don't know.
I'm kidding.
It was like marriage. Did we even now that I think about it, we didn't think about it. We didn't talk about it or think about it ever. It was just like not a thing.
What do your parents say when you say, "Me voy a casar"?
Normal.
No, that's not true, honey.
I think if anything, they started like getting kind of nervous.
Exactly. Yeah.
But
Like it finally set in because we had been dating for such a long time that they were like, oh shit, he's going to move out. You're an only child, you know? So that was hard for them.
But I don't think they were like happy.
Yeah, exactly.
But they also weren't like sad, you know? If anything, it was at the beginning, it was like kind of like stone cold, like serious. And then it started getting sad.
Can I tell him the story about your dad?
Yeah. Go ahead.
So when we got married, Dennis's dad, his name is Saul. People would ask him like, congratulations, isn't this the best time ever? Like your son is married, congrats. And so he would go home to your mom being like, why are
people congratulating me? My life is over.
He was so sad. I mean, you're like his best pal. Like you would go to coffee with him, soccer every day.
Everything.
Obviously, you know, your dad loves you so much. So that makes sense.
So much.
But yeah,
I know.
I don't think my parents really prepared me like for marriage. One thing my mom would be like, she would say this, I was very messy growing up. Oh my God, I couldn't keep my room organized. Nothing. She would be like, un hombre no aguantar esto. Which is like, no man is going to be able to handle this. And I was like, Mom, it's not that bad. And I was so freaking messy. You remember the first year of marriage?
Terribly messy.
I was so messy, guys.
It was really, really annoying.
Yeah. It wasn't until I got my house professionally organized that literally changed my life. I will always say it. And I think it has to do with my ADHD because I need to know where everything is. And it was hard for me to organize everything. So no. Another thing my parents, I guess, would kind of prepare me for in a way, marriage. My dad would always pray for our future husbands. And I thought that was really cute. Like me and my sister would be like, that's so funny. He's like praying. He's like, hombres de Dios.
That did not happen.
No, I have a great husband.
Debbie, what are your thoughts about marriage? Put yourself in the aquarium. I set up that green screen for a reason.
Baba, if he doesn't want to.
Just take your time.
Okay. In aquarium.
No, go big, full.
Okay.
Go full. Big. There we go.
I feel okay.
Blue. Mama huevo.
Oh my God.
Okay. How I feel marriage is, I feel like maybe I am so young for say that, and maybe it's rude, maybe, I just give my idea and that's it.
Remind people how old you are.
I'm 19.
Yeah, you're young.
I'm so young.
Have you ever thought about marriage?
Of course, I throw away marriage.
He throws it away.
That one is good joke. Okay. So when I'm little, I have a girlfriend and say, yo me voy a casar con usted.
Wow.
I have a girlfriend and say, I want marry with you. But it's first love you. So when I think about marry for me, no, is my friend. But yo veo parejas felices. I saw so many relationship happy, married like you, us. I say, yo me puedo casar.
Oh.
Yeah, but you understand? But
yeah, totally. Yeah.
It's inversion time.
But do you feel like you could be with one person forever?
I am a player. I'm just kidding. No, I cannot do it. My hair just have only one girl.
Oh,
yeah.
That's so sad.
Okay, I want to talk about that because so I started watching The Ultimatum on Netflix, the queer love one.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And for some reason, I didn't really want to watch it. So, it's about lesbian couples and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And somebody gives the other person the ultimatum if they don't want to get married, and then they get to like date around. And through the show, I started realizing, wow, women are such sensual lovers, where to the point where I can't even comprehend how a woman and a man understand each other because we're so different. So on the show, I was like, these women just get each other because we're women, right?
Yeah.
And the way that they would like kiss, and they're just very like sensual.
Okay.
And
Did that make you consider? It sounds like that.
No, I know. Seriously, for a second, I was like, why have I've never experienced being with a woman. I thought about that. I did.
Oh my goodness.
No, but it's nothing bad.
I think everyone do. I say, yo soy gay.
No, for sure. No. Like, I'm not gay. I'm very happily married. But looking at that, I just realized, wow, women are so like, I don't know how to explain it. There's like feminine energy whenever I'm with my girls and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
But then I thought about myself actually kissing a woman. I was like, no, I'm just not attracted to that. But going back to the question about like being with one person for the rest of your life, it is kind of, it does, I'm sorry to say this, but it does sound a little antiquated. Mm-hmm. Like a little bit. Because we're going to change. So we have to make sure we grow with each other.
True.
We can grow apart, right? I think that's crazy. And the more I think about it, the more I'm like, people shouldn't get married young. You change.
I agree.
Like you really do.
Well, you brought up a lot, and I want to touch on a lot of that.
Yeah.
There was a really good scene in Family Guy a long time ago. And so Stewie's like talking to Brian the dog, and he's like, you know, I love my bros so much. My best friend really gets me. Can you just like be with your bro forever? And then Brian's like, yeah. And then Stewie's like, what's that called? When you just want to be with your bro, it's like your best friend, like your buddy. You just want to be together. It's like, that's being gay. And it's like, it is. It's like you and someone who is the same gender understand each other so deeply that it's like, it's a relationship almost.
But that's what I'm saying. For example, I have my cousin, Liza. She's like, if I don't get married, like, I'm just going to marry you. She says it like that, right?
Yeah.
But like, there would never be anything physical there. Does that make sense? Like, yes,
no, obviously it's a cousin.
Yeah. No. I'm saying from
I get
her
it.
perspective. Oh my God, honey. You're really...
Well, you know...
After this episode, Natalie...
Everybody knows, especially Latin people, everybody knows those two older ladies that live together and are just really good friends and never got married with a man and just ended up together.
I don't know those.
It always ¿Usted conoce a David? O pues ha conocido como señoras que viven juntas. Dos señoras de más edad. Nunca se casaron y están juntas. It happens. Yeah.
I know it's happening.
Well, yeah. But
So, I mean...
You made it sound like it's so common.
It is more common than you think. Okay. I mean, I've seen many times. Yeah. But usually, you know, especially if they're older, I think people had a lot of trouble understanding being lesbian or gay, you know? And so they kind of end up being with this other older person. They never really label it a relationship, but they just kind of live together. And like they share a lot of like common interests and stuff, but they end up dying together probably, you know, at some point because they're old, obviously. And it was a relationship, but it was never labeled that. It was never like a thing. They just kind of were. It's weird. It's like really deep friendships that just kind of like are together.
I think it's because people don't want to be alone, you know?
Yeah, it's that too.
Being alone is so
sad.
Hard. It's very
sometimes
difficult.
It's good you be alone because you're thinking in you.
For sure.
But sometimes no.
No, it's not easy being alone, especially like eating alone.
I don't mind eating alone.
No. Because like, for example, I go on trips by myself. In the past, I used to go on them more by myself. Yeah. And like, I'm there for a few days. What do I want to eat?
Natalie? I like eating alone. I get to pick anything I want and I don't have to make sure that our interests are aligned. Like you just go and eat.
I guess I really enjoy eating with others.
Yeah. And that could be a thing.
Yeah.
So continuing with the marriage. Come on. I mean, what's wrong? You just made a face.
Because you transition. Just like get into
There's nothing wrong with the pauses, Natalie.
I hate it.
No. I mean, look, we could literally sit here in silence and be totally chill.
I know, but I just don't like it. Can we like...
It's very normal.
All right.
What is the most precious lesson you've learned through marriage that has deepened our relationship?
Fuck, that's a hard one.
Any lessons, just things that have made us as a couple more successful. I have a couple and then you can like riff off of them if you feel like that would make you, you know, better.
Okay, go for it. And then I'll tell you. One came to mind.
So when you're having an argument, keep it focused on the topic and don't bring up something that they did 5 years ago.
Yeah, who does that though?
I think a lot of people hold issues and they use it as ammo for arguments, and not us. Mm-hmm. But I can see where that can be an issue. Like I want to ask David, have you been in arguments in, you know, a date or relationships? ¿Has peleado con una pareja?
Of course.
Y ellos mencionan algo que pasó en el pasado, como hace mucho tiempo.
In Colombia, have a name for that. Mm-hmm. Trapitos al sol. It's seriously.
That sounds so cute.
Yeah, it's because le muestran lo que haya hecho en el... I'm mad with that. I don't like when people do that for me.
Yeah. I think that happens. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you continue.
I think that happens whenever you don't resolve things. So like tension builds up, which is why it's so important to be very upfront when something bothers you and say it in a kind way,
but like
versus holding it in.
But imagine we're having an argument and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, do you remember that time you slept on the couch like 2 years ago? That's so like, and then like you bring it up again in another fight and then again in another fight. And like at some point it's like you got to kind of drop it, you know?
Yeah. But we don't do that.
No, we don't do that. But that's something that people have learned that you shouldn't do.
Got it.
Right?
It's so bad to do that.
Well,
I know a relationship do that all time. It's so bad because siempre tienen que recordar lo que hicieron mal y eso es fuck no.
Another one is to not threaten divorce.
Oh, that's a really bad one. That's a really fine line because it's manipulative.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
People say that if you threaten it enough, it will happen.
Oh. What about hypothetically? Because I kind of did that in the last episode. I said, what if all of this ends with a divorce?
No.
But that's not really like...
It's not. It's like,
so
it's like if we're arguing and you're like, you know, keep that up and I'll leave you. Like if you say it like that and I'm like, I wouldn't say go ahead and do it.
You might because of
no,
ego.
but I would say, no, I'm putting myself in that situation. I'd be like, Natalie, be careful. Like if you're putting that out, that's what I would say. I'd say if you're putting that out there, then you're making that an option.
Sure.
Right? Yeah. What about you though? Have you been in a relationship where they threatened and said like, we'll break up or we'll leave you?
I never. And I wish I never stay in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's bad. Okay. Like que le digan a uno ya. Se va a acabar con esa pelea.
Yeah.
So the question was, what is something that
what is the most precious lesson you've learned through marriage that has deepened our relationship?
Well, I feel like this is more of a life lesson.
Okay.
The reality is, and here I go with my morbidness, we're all going to die. Right?
No way.
There's nothing more... There's nothing more certain than that, right?
Yeah.
And so sometimes I look at you and like, let's say we're fighting. I'm like, am I enjoying him enough? Because like, I don't know if you're going to go first or if I'm going to go.
Oh, shit.
The reality of life is you and I will not spend the rest of our lives together.
No, yeah, no.
One of us will see the other person die.
But what is the rest? You know, what constitutes as rest? Is the rest like, do I have to live till you die?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So
like for me, the rest is a percentage. Like if we spend the next, I don't know, 50 years together and then I die, like, yeah, I spent the rest of my life with you. Even I would consider that yours too. Like, do you understand?
No, because if I see you die, that's different for me.
No.
Yes, it's going to be
but I've been such an ingrained portion of your life that it's like, yeah, you spent it with me.
What I'm trying to say with that example is that I look at you and I realize you are not eternal.
Value me, appreciate me. I just want to be appreciated.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that therefore I look at you and I'm like, is this worth this petty comment I'm about to tell him? Is it worth me being angry at him right now? Or I think about that whenever we're really upset and like, let's say you go to the gym. I'm like, oh, what if he doesn't come back?
No fucking way
seriously,
that would happen.
I think about this stuff, guys.
That's funny.
And it makes me question. One thing I learned from a friend, Shmoyoho, it was so cute. I went into their office, their studio in New York, and he had a picture of this little girl next to his desk. And I was like, who is that? And he was like, that's my wife. And I was like, oh, but he was like, that's my wife when she was younger. And I was like, that's so cute. Why do you do that? He was like, whenever I see that little girl and I'm mad at my wife and I'm deciding to scream at my wife, I see her because that's who I'm really talking to. And she keeps a picture of him next to her bedstand. And I think that's such a beautiful way of looking at it.
I don't mind screaming at kids. I think it's a good tactic for him, though.
I think it's a really beautiful way of looking at life. And that's a lesson that I've taken.
It's cute. Another one is knowing the buttons to push that makes your spouse angry. And it isn't something that you should use as a tool.
You You didn't know. You clearly didn't catch this. I feel like you don't catch a lot of them.
What do you mean?
You're not that great at reading. No, actually, I take that back. You're good at reading me, but you tend to push my buttons a little bit.
How did that bother you?
Because I was actually answering the question seriously.
Yeah. What does it matter?
That you try to make it.
You got your point across and it was very beautiful, but at the same time, I thought it was funny.
Yeah. So
I'm not cutting you off.
Let's not talk over each other. And then also it's important to listen to each other. I'm being serious.
Okay. Are you done? So, personality.
The title of this, the most awkward podcast episode.
No. It's not awkward at all.
I'm kidding, honey.
So when you marry somebody,
yeah,
or you're dating somebody, you only really get to understand their personality. You don't really know their character. You can only really understand someone's character when you've been with them for long enough that you know the ins and outs of their mind.
I disagree. I think you never fully end up seeing someone's true character. It's always changing too. But I think you can see somebody's true character from the beginning as well.
Okay.
Just by like a little slip up.
And totally, you can definitely believe that, But there are differences between personality and character. And
what is that? That's interesting.
So I was going to touch on this and then we could decide like, hey, is that more of a character trait or is it a personality thing? So personality is based on techniques. Mm-hmm. It focuses on how to appear to be. It's what you appear to be. It's image creation, public relation, communication, and how you manage yourself. That's personality.
Okay, yeah.
Character is based on your inner principles. It focuses on actually being your actual self. And then it's something that revolves around integrity, fidelity, compassion, contribution, responsibility, justice, and courage. And so like my personality might be to show myself as being courageous, when in reality, I'm a little bitch and that's part of my character. Like I hide away when I'm nervous. So you can't really truly see what it is until you go deep enough into the marriage. Cause like,
okay, so I'll ask you then, what was something that came out of me that you didn't realize in the beginning, whether positive or negative? So
in your personality, now you have me thinking, like, now I need to separate something that I perceived from something that is the reality.
Okay.
Right? And so I perceived you as being very like loving in terms of physicality. Mm-hmm. But in reality, I think it was just a dating thing. And your character trait is you're not very amicable when in terms of like touch.
That's so interesting.
Why
can't I hear myself? Hello. Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? Like that separates personality from character.
But I will say, I think the reason I'm like that is because, for example, Dennis is very affectionate.
Whereas personally, I don't show it.
Right. So like, for example, like people might see him here and like Dennis will never give me PDA. Like you will never see him kissing me in public.
And that's a personality thing, right?
Yeah. And I'm actually the opposite. Like I feel like I like to hug you in public and stuff like that. But when we're home, it's the opposite. Yeah. Where like Dennis like wants a hug. And I think it's more because we're in work time that I'm very like, can we not do this right now? Like I'm kind of like, I'm really like focused, Yeah. So I think that's something that we kind of differ in.
I think a good way also of seeing personality versus character is like, how does a person act at work or outside or
with friends
in a different environment? And then what are they really like when they're alone with you? But they got to be comfortable. People have to be comfortable to truly show their character. If they still feel like they're putting a facade, then that's still their personality. It's weird.
But sometimes character slips.
Yeah, it does.
And it could be a good thing or it could be a bad thing.
Let's say someone is racist. Mm-hmm. Would that be considered a personality trait or a character flaw?
Character flaw, I think.
It's more ingrained.
Yeah.
But what if all their friends are racist?
What about it?
And they're not racist, but they act racist with their friends.
I think
that's a personality thing.
I think it's still a character flaw because they're showing that.
I think the character flaw in that case would be like acceptance. Like they want acceptance by people.
Yeah.
And their personality is kind of going with what other people do. It gets complicated. I'm not saying it's easy. It's not easy to understand, but as the moral of the story is the longer you spend time with someone, the more you understand their character.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what about you. This was such a tricky one. Honestly, this hurt my head. Personality versus character.
It's tough. No, I mean, and once you understand someone's character, you know how to avoid confrontations. You learn how they are really deeply inside. I think I've learned a lot about you. Mm-hmm. It's hard for me to pinpoint and say, oh, her character is this and her personality is this and like this and this and this. But like along with pushing buttons and understanding things and not bringing about previous fights and all these things, you can avoid a lot of stuff. And I understand you like to read, right? If I buy you a book, that might help with your personality, but do you really read that often? Probably like not as much as you probably show.
Mm-hmm.
That's I'm not really helping with your character.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Honestly, this is hurting my head. This question.
But how I mean, say something. Say anything.
No, all I'm saying it's just it's funny because the other day Dennis comes to me. I feel like these questions hurt my head. I just gotta let you know.
But let
me explain. Right?
Go ahead.
You came to me on Monday and you're like, "This show is so serious. We need to like just be fun. Let's do the fucking Sprite challenge." And I was
we're gonna do it in the next episode.
I was like, what? Okay, fine. I'm good with it. I think whenever you ask me very introspective questions, it feels like a therapy session, and I'm not quite sure I want to share so much just yet. So that's why it hurts my head, you know? But maybe it's a fault on my side for not being like, hey, Dennis, you want to review the script beforehand? So I'm kind of tossed into it.
So, okay.
But I appreciate you like coming up with the script.
We had mentioned that, and I agree that I want to make the show funner, more whatever. I put the green screen. Like there's a lot of changes that are moving in that direction. But at the same time, then I need feedback.
I agree.
And like when I'm talking to you about these kinds of things, it's like I want to understand how you feel about that topic towards me. I want to understand more. It's not just sit there and listen and hear my opinion and then you like, and then that's it.
No, I know that. But I guess the thing is I can't speak too much out of experience because that's such a new topic for me. So I'm like, what's character? What's personality? Like, I don't want to just give an answer just because I'm here filming. Like, I genuinely want to be myself about it. Does that make sense? So I'm being real when I'm like, this is hurting my head and I don't know how to answer this for you. That's it. That's all. If you want me to take over right now and like, kind of like, you know.
What would you name our child? I know it's a random question, but I want to know.
I don't want to tell them. I have a name in mind. Fine.
Name in mind.
I wanna hear.
Fine. I'll do this just for the podcast viewers because I'll do it for them.
Before you say that.
Okay, fine.
Before you actually drop the name.
Okay.
This is Dennis's random fact, by the way. There is a thing that lower class German people are stereotyped based on their name. And I didn't know this was a thing. So when you hear a German person named Kevin or Brian, they tend to be of lower class.
Why? I don't get it.
And that there's a certain thing called Kevinism, where when there's a child named Kevin in a class, teachers treat them worse. It's weird. And it's funny because in our family, there's a Kevin and a Brian, and they're brothers. It's real. And so there's people who say that in other countries, it's the same. When you hear of
in Colombia, is El Brian, El Kevin.
Yeah. Yeah. And in Argentina, it's the same thing. Like Jonathan with a Y. I have a list of names here because I wanted to know what you had in mind for our kid, but there is definitely a list of do not name them these things.
Well, I remember there was a study back when I was in college of applicants that would apply for different jobs. And based off their name, they would get stereotyped and the employer wouldn't hire them. And it tended to be people of, what do you call it? Like, not American.
Okay.
I try to
Not white.
right, not
Okay.
white, not white. Yeah.
Okay.
And so some people would then change their name,
Oh, wow.
and it would actually get them hired.
Damn. So they go as far as to change their name to get hired?
Not legally, just to see if the employer would have hired them, like same resume, just different names.
Got it. I
Yeah,
understand.
yeah. Okay, so I don't know if I want to tell them the name.
Names to not name your child because then they'll get stereotyped. Michael. Maicol. Michael.
Why?
I'm just saying it lowers their standards in life. For some reason, there's a study that says this. Okay.
And you, Natalie, what name you don't like it?
What name don't I like for?
Yeah.
I don't like anything that sounds too like if you name a little kid like Sir George, like that just feels like an adult name.
Yeah, it's like Olga.
Olga.
He's like my uncle.
Yeah, it feels like that. So I don't like names like that. But then also, how do you make a name that sounds nice once they're older? Because like, for example, maybe a little girl's name sounds really cute and sweet when she's little, but then she grows up and she's like for example.
So in Sweden,
Lupita.
in Sweden, people judge people that their names end in Y.
Why?
So Tommy or Ronnie or Danny.
I want to know if this
As
is
if they're
real.
little, as if they're not like, fully fleshed out.
Well, if you're from there, I'd love to hear if this is actually a real thing. I can't imagine it being a real thing. That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Okay, so fine. I'll have to tell everybody because I promise I would.
Yeah.
You guys aren't going to like this.
Okay, do it.
Okay.
We haven't talked about this, by the way. I don't know what name you have in mind.
I think you do know. I've told you multiple times.
Oh, I know then.
Yeah. So the name that I would like to name my child. Oh, but I don't know. Do I want to give it away?
You don't have to.
But I said I would. Okay, fine. No, I don't know. Do I want to do this? This is so annoying. But if I was watching, I'd be like, just tell us. I really like the name Magnus.
Mm.
No, it's kind of funny because it's a
Magnus.
Norwegian name.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds very powerful. I also love it because Magnus is a YouTuber that I love watching his videos. He's a rock climber.
Okay.
Magnus is a
Magnus.
Chess
Magnus
player.
Carlsen. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a fierce one in our.
Yeah. I just think it sounds so powerful. And like, I want my child to have a name like that, like Magnus. The thing is, then I think about how are my parents going to pronounce it?
Magnus.
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 And it's a woman.
A woman.
Yeah.
I like
El
anything.
nombre mujer.
No, but
Oh,
si es una
okay, I got
mujer,
it.
¿cómo
And
le
if it's a
pondré?
girl?
If it's a girl, I like anything that ends with A at the end.
Crystal.
That Crystal? that doesn't end with A, honey. No.
Amanda.
Maybe I take that back.
That reminds me of Boondocks, where they were like, any woman whose name is like after an alcoholic drink is a prostitute. Like, oh, hilarious.
No, I
love
don't
that
know.
show
To be
so
honest,
much.
this is such a hard question. I don't know how you would name your child. I think we're gonna struggle, but I do like Magnus. I don't think my parents would like it, and everybody in my Colombian
I like
family
it. I like
would
it.
make fun of me.
No,
Thanks,
está bien el nombre.
I like it, but I do want to consider it more.
What would you name our child?
Boy, if he's boy.
Huracus.
Huracán de una vez.
Huracán.
Huracan.
Dominic. Yo le pondré a mi hijo.
Dominic? Oh, I had an ex-boyfriend named Dominic.
Dominic. Oh, gosh. Okay.
O Maximilian.
I kind of hate that I prepared the script prior to me wanting to have like so much fun or whatever.
Oh, what do you mean?
And this will be the one, like, I guess the last super serious podcast.
Uh-huh.
But this topic was serious.
Okay, tell me. We're in for it.
So let's have a hard conversation. What's something that has bothered you about me that you haven't shared with me?
What?
Yeah. Takes time.
Well, I kind of did share it with you yesterday, but I hadn't shared it with you fully. There's two things. Okay. One of the things is that I feel like as a woman, I'm going to have a child. I'm not going to have to, but I will be obviously you can get pregnant if we want a child.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I'm going to have to give up so much and you're not because you're just the man and that's your role. And there's a little bit of resentment in that.
Yes.
So for example, I was talking to one of my cousins and she was like, she had her baby. She was very overwhelmed. And she was like, Natalie, I'm like waking up to breastfeed. He's helping me change the diapers. But you know what I did? I just stopped breastfeeding and I told him to just go get that milk because not only is it hurting her tits, but like it's hard to breastfeed, right?
True.
So as a mom, like I just don't like the role, guys.
But that's weird because I'm asking you to have a hard conversation with me about a trait or something about me that you don't like.
I guess you're a man. Just kidding.
And so yeah, that's kind of what I got out of it.
No. You're right. I didn't answer that right.
Man, that queer show.
No.
I'm just kidding.
I didn't answer that right. I apologize. Okay.
No, don't apologize about anything. That's how you feel. And it's fine.
But you're right. I didn't answer the question. I totally.
But it was on your mind, so it's there for a reason.
This is the real one.
Oh shit! Okay.
Are you ready for me to throw you another one?
Let me whip out my notepad.
Okay. I feel, and I told you this yesterday, I think, right?
Again, you told me that yesterday too? Yeah. You told me a lot yesterday.
This is the one that I told you yesterday. I said, Hansan, I want to be able to travel and I want to enjoy my life. Yeah. You love this home life and I love it so much too, right? Mm. But like, I'm not going to live my life to just work and be here every day of the week just because.
And I agree.
And so I told you, I was like, I want to go to Japan this year. And you were like overwhelmed by the idea.
Japan is so fun.
Right?
But then I can finish your thought and then I'll respond.
No, that's pretty much what the whole thing was. It's just, I wonder because, you know, this has come out before and you tell me not to say it. So I'm going to say it right now. Right?
Okay.
That I say this and it sounds so negatively. I say, I feel like you're holding me back. Mm-hmm. And of course that doesn't sound nice to hear, but it's like, I wish to be able to experience this with you. I don't want to have to be like, hey cousin, do you want to go with me and like go to Japan? You know, like I'm going to like go with somebody else.
I want to go to Japan with you.
Yeah.
The thing is, I think
there's fears.
More of other things. Like we just left Spain. We're going to Colombia in August. When will we go to Japan?
Right. So what I said to you was...
can I finish my thought? Yeah, okay. Beyond that, I think finances. Mm-hmm. I think of the expenses. We haven't really looked into how much did we spend in Spain? How much did it cost? We just kind of...
I did look into it.
Okay.
We spent a lot of money because we went on a very short amount of time.
I mean, we had a whole podcast about that and it was like for a trip for work and stuff and an event or whatever.
Ideally, we would have budgeted for them.
That huge trip cuts into other travels because people budget for a whole year for travel. And so
here's the thing. Okay. This is why it builds resentment a little bit towards me is because it took us 7 years to go on our honeymoon. Right? Mm-hmm. And I was the one pushing and pushing and pushing to the point that it became just not fun. I had to hire a travel agent to help us. Like this type of stuff should be fun. So that bothers me.
Okay. I understand that.
But I don't know if I could change that about you.
Yeah.
And I also wonder if it's something that you just do because like, I don't know. It's always been hard for you to travel. But then once you do, you're so happy.
And I don't think I'm bad at traveling. Like we kind of maneuver through airports and cities.
I think Dennis feels so comfortable in him house. Se siente muy confiado acá. Le gusta estar acá.
I like being in control of where I am. And by going somewhere where I don't know too well, I think that's also like a mental issue. Maybe. Sure. Like I would not have taken my parents to Spain. I already told you for the first time with me experiencing it for the first time. But now that I've gone, like let's say David wanted to go to Spain with me, like we would go because now I feel comfortable and I have an idea of what it's like. It's weird. I feel like I need to take that step first and get a feel for things and then take people with me. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a character. That's a character flaw. Okay. Es un problema mío. Like yo tengo que
Pero it's like protection. Él se siente como que quiere proteger a los demás.
Yeah, ¿Sí no, I know.
But it holds me back and it holds you back, I guess, technically as well, alongside with that.
Yeah, because for example, like I wouldn't want to go back to Madrid because I want to go to other places.
Whereas for me, like I like going to places I've already been to. See, that's different from us. Like I like New York. I would go again, and we've been there, and we'll probably go again at some point, or Miami. But for you, it's like it's off the list and moving on to the next place.
I want to go to
like,
new places.
I know how you are,
so that's okay. But I appreciate you handling.
And
that.
that's why Hawaii, maybe you didn't enjoy it as much, and you consider it kind of like a shitty trip because you had already experienced it.
Exactly.
But it was my first time. And so.
But I did like that. You were experiencing it. But yes, you're right. You're right.
You like new experiences and I like.
Old.
Not old. I like feeling in control. I think it's a problem.
No,
I understand that.
I appreciate you answering that. With
my turn.
I'm going to say something.
Go.
I appreciate you answering that with maturity.
Yes.
I want to applaud you for that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, honey.
I'm going to repeat the question again and then I'm going to actually give mine. Let's have a hard conversation with something that has bothered you and you haven't shared. Okay. I think that you have a lot of issues and you don't fully try to solve them. Fully.
Yeah, it's true.
Okay. So
not me about to cry here.
The ADHD was the first time I've ever seen you fully attempt to solve something. Like full on. And even then, I feel like you know your solution, but you are very opposed to committing to it.
Yeah.
I think your skin is another problem that you resort on going to people to solve for you. But I don't think it will solve itself until you fully want to solve it.
Yeah.
So it's and I wrote this because it's hard for me to say it, but I think when it comes to skincare, you could focus more of your attention on improving it. It's like that
is so overwhelming.
It's like that with a lot of your issues. You don't fully investigate how to fix them.
That's true.
And don't commit to full on routines that could potentially clear up a lot of your problems.
Yeah.
So your dermatologist, like, and I don't know if your ADHD goes along with that, but like he gave you your step-by-step way of solving. How long did you follow that?
I followed it for a little bit. I did.
And then why did you stop?
I don't remember. But like, to me, life is just overwhelming sometimes. Like for me to go to these appointments, like he's like, take this and take this and take that. And I'm like, no, I want to have babies eventually. I can't take anything like this. It's like I have other things I think about. Right. And I feel very dependent, but like, if you could just come with me to one of these things, it would make more sense to me. He's like telling me all this stuff. I'm like, can you write it down? I don't even know. That paper, I had to ask him 3 times to give me that because he just thought I could remember all this.
Okay, I get that, right? But I feel like that's the extent at which your attempts to solve something stop. I think I like you going to the dermatologist. I feel like you feel like, oh, I tried.
It's just a lot of work for me to schedule these appointments.
But it goes beyond that. It's like, okay, I go to physical therapy for my knee, but like, am I going to implement it? Am I going to continue? Am I going to go? Am I going to do it when no one is watching? Am I going to like...
That's my problem.
Like that.
I need support. And like, for example, F45, right? I started going to the gym only because I have friends that were pushing me to go to the gym. I started eating healthier only because you were the one pushing me to help to eat healthier. I don't like that. That's a trait of mine.
Yeah.
I can be very dependent on people, like, for example, all these appointments, like my mom used to do all this shit for me, Once I got married, I was like, wait, like I would literally sit with my friends and they're like talking about their dentist appointment. I was like, I haven't booked one of those in a long time. I know it's a flaw,
but I want you to understand what I'm saying. It's not about any particular thing.
Yeah, I get it.
It's about pursuing a solution fully to the end of it until it's solved completely.
No, yeah, sometimes I don't care that much, I guess.
So if I were to say, hey, Natalie, how do you fix your skin right now? Do you know a solution?
The thing is, I'm like, do I want to go to the dermatologist again? He gives me 10 minutes out of his day. He'll
So that's not it. Like for me,
That's what I feel.
no, I think we all, how can I say this? So the green screen, for example, I'm trying to come up with things. I did that on my own. I researched it and it's done. It's solved. He's there in space floating around, right? if I look for someone to help me, I think that I'm putting my problems on that person and like it's not being solved fully. And I don't know at that point how to, like do it. I think to truly solve your skincare, I don't want to be the person to say, don't go to a dermatologist. Mm-hmm. But I think you have to figure things out and understand why they say this cream, why they say, don't just follow a list.
The reality is I don't care that much.
Nah, that's it. That's the answer.
Why?
That's what I wanted to get to. That's a breakthrough. You don't care, but it matters to you at certain moments. And then
it sucks that for some people it's so easy to just have clear skin. Like I actually have to fucking try.
You're not trying.
I am trying.
You're not trying.
I wash my face every day.
You don't try.
Papa, you're acting like I'm like a dirty person.
No, it's not about dirty. I can't help
that this grows on my face.
Yeah, but the solutions are there. They present themselves and it's possible.
But like I said, I go to the dermatologist. What does he tell me? Let me put you on Accutane. I say, no, I want to have kids. I don't want to go on Accutane.
But you're not actively trying to have kids, so why?
It doesn't matter. I don't want to
I know
risk
it's hormonal. I know it's all that other stuff, yeah.
It's not hormonal. I don't want to risk having a deformed baby.
True.
Just because of my vanity. I don't care that much.
I get
That's
it.
why.
Okay, but is there no other solutions other than Accutane?
Everything he wants to give me, maybe I just need a new dermatologist. Everything he wants to give me is I have to take it. I don't want to take stuff. I'm like, something's broken here. Can you help me figure that out? As opposed to being like, let me prescribe you this and this and this. I don't want that. But you're right. I don't know.
I think in conclusion with this entire podcast, I think we have a very strong relationship. I feel like we talked about a lot of issues and flaws today, but at the end of the day, we're still here and happy and thriving and together, and it's important. I wanted to bring up all of these things in the podcast because it's stuff that we don't just talk about like on the daily.
Yeah.
On the everyday.
You guys they are so directly. You understand? Como que son muy directos. Pero eso es muy bueno porque uno sabe las cosas directamente, no uno.
Yeah.
Where's Space Davi? I wanna see. There you go.
Thanks, Davi.
Space Davi. Thoughts, concerns, conclusions?
Well, I guess I don't feel great about what you told me, but I agree. But I do feel, and I hope you don't see this as an excuse, like this is not something I can control. Mm-hmm. And I know you see me suffer through it, but like if I could change it, I would.
I think there is a lot we can control, and a lot of our issues can be solved. But it's like, do we care enough?
But I do. I've been tackling this for like years.
I know that.
So there's a point where you also get tired.
I know that too.
So I think that's where I'm at.
I want to ask, viewers what their opinions are with a lot of the topics that we talked about today in terms of personality and character, in terms of marriage. A lot of you maybe aren't married, but like, how do you view marriage? Nowadays people are getting married much older or not marrying at all.
Sure.
And, is it just a glorified dating, with more commitment? Like, is it like, what do you view marriage as? And then in the previous podcast, we had mentioned that we're considering starting up memberships. And I think we're actually going to fully commit to the whole membership thing. We're going to probably start doing comment, answering within a special segment, unlisted video where, members can actually get in there and have conversations about deep topics or fun topics because we're kind of trying to get things a little bit more enjoyable in the future episodes.
But I do think if we're just deep people, then that's a part of who we are. And we also shouldn't share that. We have a little bit of variety. That's what we've always said Natalie and Dennis show is, right?
Yeah. I mean, so we could fucking, do
serious topics just tend to come up, and I think we go deep with it. And I actually really appreciate having in-depth comments. So yeah, I mean, we'll talk more about memberships after. I mean, the purpose of memberships there's two different things. One of them is we can't really sustain this without some assistance because we're not getting sponsors, right? This does take up time, and we're dedicating 100 episodes to this if this like works out for us type of thing. So that's like the reality of things. So if you become a member, you're supporting us paying David, you're supporting us paying for the studio, you're supporting all of that. Plus, we want to give you value in return, which would be us connecting more with you. And secondly, it would be about creating a community, which is something that I feel like we already have. But how nice would it be if there was like one central hub for all of us to really connect? So if you have other ideas for memberships or concerns, let us know down below, because I want to hear more before we actually fully decide to be like, let's do it, you know? And like, what's the price range and what would you feel is valuable for you to get in return? You know, because even like, I think it'd be kind of cool too, where let's say once a month we hop on a Zoom call with people. Yeah. You know, like that might be kind of fun. And then it's like they can give us more ideas.
Or instead of a Zoom, it could be like a Discord or a live. We could do a special Discord. I don't know.
Yeah. It's so fun, and everyone puede prender la cámara y es súper fácil de hacer.
Cool. So yeah, so there's that. Thank you for listening to our Friday episode. As always, we are on Apple, Spotify, everywhere, and YouTube if you want to check out the visuals.
Be sure to comment and subscribe and let us know how you thought today's episode went. And also stay tuned next Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern time.
Yes, we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye. Space.
I want to say something before leaving.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for everything. You guys know is you don't stay here, we don't possible, so thank you for everything.
And zoom, I want you to zoom away.
Zoom away, yeah. Do the zoom away. Can you do it?
Okay.
Go space.
Free bus, stay here. Okay, guys, thank you for everything.
Wait. Come on, David.